everyone, my name is Gamal, this is Professor Rodriguez. Today guys, we are going to work on passing the butterfly guard. Okay, butterfly guard, one of the many types of guards where we have a partial retention, okay, based on placement of feet and our hooks as we commonly work, and our legs, and hip movement. Okay, so we're going of course to speak more, describe more the aspects of the guard, but first let's go back to the very simple and basic concept of guard in Jiu-Jitsu. Guard in Jiu-Jitsu is based on what? Situation where I'm on the bottom and I'm able here to defend myself with my legs. That's very important, guys. Defense comes first. We're always looking for retention, protection, then we try to work on potential sweep or submission, our attacks available. But always understanding that my protection comes first. I can never be vulnerable. My partner can never pass my guard, control my legs, and go to my upper body easily. Okay? So based on the idea of defense, guys, we develop on our attacks. And our guard of today, as we said, is our butterfly guard. Okay, so the butterfly guard, guys, the nature of the position here is my partner will place both of his feet, his hooks, we commonly call the hooks, between of my knees. Okay, look that professor keeps his knees pointed to the outside. Okay, he's trying here to work on frames, or framing here my hips, framing my arms, and trying to find some mobility, because we always speak about the two aspects, retention and mobility. Okay, so when you have less retention, there's no partial half guard or full retention or close guard. We have to combine with movement, okay? Because being static, for example, if you're back on the floor, becomes detrimental, okay? So the point here of the butterfly guard will be similar in terms of mobility if you compare to the half guard, okay? Because my partner will also try potentially to work with the underhook, and he's also trying here to hip escape. My intention here when passing the guard is always trying to create some sort of vulnerability. Whether I'm facing the De La Riva, the butterfly as we're facing now, half guard, close guard, I'm always trying to create some vulnerable spot, vulnerable point, okay? And the vulnerability comes from neutralize one of the legs, neutralizing the hips, make my partner's mobility more difficult. His guard is going to be bringing him to a situation where he needs to rely on some physical attribute, whether it's explosiveness, flexibility, power. So we need to bring him to a situation where he needs to work on some extra, again, utilize some extra aspect of his physicality, for example, in order to keep that guard active, okay? And our ways to pass the guard today, guys, will be based on pressure and naturally mobility. So first step, as I know that my partner will eventually try to sit up and find an angle, my intention here is advancing towards my partner's upper body and keep his back flattened on the floor like this, okay? So, sit up there, professor. I'll be working on attacking the upper body so that I can even use my forehead and my shoulder against his chest, and I push him to the ground like this, okay? So see that, as soon as I push my partner, I'll be trying here to keep him with his back on the floor, caging the hips, that's important here to prevent him from hip escaping, and I'll initiate my guard passing. So I'm going to define one of the sides, whether it's right or left. So for example, I'm going to attack here my partner's right side with my left hand. So my right hand here, I'm not going to extend, okay? So I'm not going to extend here, because extending, I give chance to my partner to overhook and hip escape, so he still has space here to work on something. So I'm not really neutralizing his movement. I'll be going to work here on arm goes, or I will cover the leg, so I cover my partner's shin, and I can, for example, here make a grip on my leg, okay, so tight here on his shin, okay, you can even hold the foot here, hold the shin, okay, so see that the intention here is neutralizing the leg, okay, so one, and grabbing here, or holding the leg, and I can even keep my knee on the floor, okay, so I will get here, this hook here stuck, right, so I keep my partner's leg stuck, and now is a moment where I'll be working on shoulder and head on his belly, and my opposite foot here, my opposite knee goes off of the ground, like this. So that I'm clinching my partner's hips, and my opposite foot here goes off of the ground. Opposite knee, sorry. Pull it out. Go here. Okay? Now what I want, I'm going to push the leg down and I step over, okay? So I will elevate my level a little bit here, I push the leg down and I step over. As soon as I step over, what do I want? I'm trying here to lock down my partner's leg, okay? So I hook my partner's leg here from the outside and I'm trying to lock down his leg, okay? So again, oh yeah, one, hold the shin or hold the leg, and again up. 1, 2, and lock down the leg. See that as soon as I hook the leg from the outside, to conclude the lockdown, what do I need? My foot here goes behind of my knee and I place my foot here over my partner's foot. So this thing here, 1 and 2, okay? So see that, I lock it, my foot goes behind of my knee and I lock my partner's foot. So see that in this situation here, combine it here with the pressure that I have on his upper body, I'm already neutralizing one of the sides of his body, at least to his hips. Then is a moment where I will underhook. So following the side of the leg here, the lockdown, I will underhook my partner's arm, and now I have full control over my partner's right side here of his body, okay? So I'm holding the leg and getting the underhook, chest against chest. So to this point here, guys, how can we work? We can try here too, by moving, look that I'm going to change my head's position. Okay, so my head that now is on top of my partner's right shoulder goes to the opposite side. Okay, goes to the opposite side, and now let's try here to do with the opposite leg. Push it a little bit. Yeah, opposite side here. So see that I hook the leg, or I can even slide it, hook the leg, and I feel my opposite one. Now see that I'm going to push my partner's knee to the outside, and I cut from inside. So 1, 2, and 3, okay? So see that from the butterfly guard, we could control the leg, not only the leg, but neutralize here my partner's leg with the lockdown, underhooking the same side, and cutting from inside, laying specifically, guys, on mount position. Understanding that, depends on how my partner reacts, we may go to side control. The intention, guys, is execute that first step, which is locking down the leg and underhooking the arm in order to solidify our control. From that point, we have created those points of vulnerability. Remember that we spoke about creating points where my partner has limited mobility and of course he needs to rely on some sort of aspect, some attribute, explosiveness, flexibility, right? So my partner will eventually have to explode somehow, bridge somehow, or create some sort of movement, and those movements will eventually expose his position, okay? Then, of course, becomes beneficial, okay? So again, 1, so remember that I want to hold the leg, remember I can hold the shin, I can grab the pants, I can hold my own leg, and my knee remains on the ground. So, 1, here, okay? Remember that we do not extend, preventing potential overhook and hip escape. So what I want, like this. So what I want, I will hold here 1, heavy there, and I will try here to push the leg, and as I push the leg, step over. 1, 2, and 3. I will hook here from the outside, and I'm trying now to lock down. Remember, leg comes from the outside to inside, I lock behind of my knee, and my foot goes in front of his shin, okay? So 1, 2, and now let's advance. Okay, advancing here, underhooking the same side. That's important. Okay, why? Limiting his mobility. Okay, then from this point I have to advance. So advancing. See that I will now change my head's position. So go to the other side. 1, I keep on the hook, but now using only 1 foot. Okay, and 1, 2, and 3. See that? I can even plant here my head beside of my partner's head, and we conclude now on mount position. Okay? Alright, so that was our first movement. See that? The whole idea, guys, revolves around of what? Trying to limit our partner's mobility by getting his back on the ground, controlling the hips, of course, being methodical. My partner will be trying to regain that mobility that he has lost. So, based on that principle, we advance. Locking down the leg, that's a very important aspect. Why? Because we establish a very strong control over the hips. Then advancing and underhooking the same side. Why? Because I want to neutralize that whole side, my partner's right or left. Then again, bringing back to the conversation of vulnerability, I brought him to a situation where he needs to rely on something else. If he relies on something else, he will eventually explode, or something that he can eventually do, he will eventually give us the guard passing. If it doesn't happen, no problem, we have full control. We just change our head's position and advance to the other side then to conclude our guard passing, going to mount position, okay? All right, so that was our first sequence. For the second one, very simple. The approach is the same. Same thing. Again, I know that my partner wants to sit up, he wants to hip escape. Again, I'm going to advance to his upper body. You see that I advance to the upper body, and I will right away try to define one of the sides, okay? The faster I work, the easier or maybe more possible to pass the guard becomes, okay? Because then I can connect my sequence here, my movements, and I will advance, making my partner be eventually behind. So I will advance here one, same thing. So now see that, again, I will hold the leg, and see that as I hold the leg, I'm now going to control the leg here one, and I'm going to pass to the same side. This movement is very, very simple, very, very basic. So see that, I will advance here one, I hold the leg. As I hold the leg, now I'm going to, by working on my toes, I start moving here to the side where I control the leg. Okay, so I can, for example, I will start moving here, and even if my partner eventually tries here to work with his hook, this hook here try to create sweep or something like that, doesn't happen. Why? Because I'm holding the leg on the bottom. So even if professor tries to kick here to sweep, boom, I can still sprawl and neutralize his hips. And see that by the nature of the movement, as I'm working the sprawl, I'm limiting again, guys, limiting the mobility. He's unable to turn. So his hips are flat on the ground, his mobility is going to be compromised. His angle for the sweep basically does not exist. So my execution becomes much, much easier, okay? So again, I hold it one here, I hold the shin. Again, I start moving here and I sprawl walking around. As I walk around here, see that my partner has no chance, of course, as long as I keep the control, to reframe. So I keep on working here, and we cage the hips. See that I cage the hips here, predicting potential reaction. My partner will be eventually pushing. But if I'm able to control the hips and keep up the tail, my knee goes here behind of my partner's butt, okay? Why? Because then it becomes easier for me, not only using my arms, but using my legs to drive his legs to the other side. So I clinch here and I keep on walking. Then gradually we try to access the shoulders, whether the arm goes under the arm or over my partner's shoulder, okay? So again. All right, so first step, remember that we advance, and I hold the leg. See that as I hold the leg, remember that I define the side. I'm going to pass to the same side of the control here. So again, I start sprawling. So it's basically reproducing here, it's not really the under over, but see, actually similar dynamic of the under over, but we move to the side of the frame. So walking, boom, we clinch. Clinching the hips, again, making sure that your knee is blocking your partner's hips, okay? Then, what do you do? Advancing here and trying here to either under the arm or over the shoulder. We finish our guard passing, okay? All right. First and second movements based on pressure, control. See that the approach even is pretty much the same. We are neutralizing one of the legs, getting the back in the ground, neutralize one of the legs, and then advancing to the point where we could create a situation again that my partner is limited in terms of mobility, and I can go to the destination, where it's the shoulders, upper body there, therefore side control or mount position. Okay, all right, and let's work on last movement here that will combine also potential pressure but more mobility, okay? So you can execute this movement here faster, okay? So again, butterfly guard, and same situation here. My partner is eventually, of course, sitting up there and, of course, developing his guard. So what I want in this situation here, guys, look that. I'll be working on, sit up there, professor. He will sit up. First step, I'll be trying here. I make a grip here on his lapel, one, and lock my elbow in. Okay, so one, and my hand goes under, from behind actually, of the opposite leg, and I grab my partner's pants. Okay, so see that I make a grip on the pants. I cannot, of course, alterate the order here. I can make the grip on the pants, then go for the shoulder here. But see that I grab the shoulder and the pants. The arm here comes here, sorry, from outside of the opposite leg. Okay, then while I work here, in this situation, I'm looking for, I will push here, one and two. Okay, so then I can even work with the long step. I will just advance to my partner using my forehead, and then I work the long step. As I have both legs under control, I just return here, and we go to our right pass. Okay, so again, same thing, partner seated. Remember that I try here to make that grip from outside of the leg, holding the pants. Remember that we fold here the edge of the pants and create a little pocket. So, 1 and 2, grip here goes the collar, elbow comes in. Again, I use my forehead, so I use my forehead here, and I will float a little bit over my partner's shins. Then I will work the long step. So 1 and 2, okay? As I have the leg under my control, I will have both, because my arm comes from the outside of the leg, and I hold my partner's pants. Then I just return, and again, we conclude like that. So that. Oh yeah. 1, 2, elbow in. Remember, floating, step, boom, long step. And we pass the guard. Okay? Alright, so we have seen here, guys, 3 ways to pass the guard. All of them, if you see, except for the first one, that we have more details and more steps to the sequence of movements a little bit longer. But all of them will be based on trying here, guys. Always remember, that's a very important point, guys. Establishing a vulnerable point. Your partner playing guard or even passing, depending on the perspective, depending on the position that you are. You must create a vulnerability. You must make your partner defensive. Okay? I must try here to be one step ahead, limiting somehow my partner's movement. If I'm playing guard, naturally trying to find a position that is not a position that's going to be even, but my partner must think about keeping his balance first, then develop some attack. So that's basically the idea of the fight. That's the idea of the game of Jiu-Jitsu. We try to be one step ahead at least in order to develop our further step. Okay, whether it's a submission or a progression. So now let's recall, guys, all of the 3 movements that we've seen today. First and second, based on a very simple approach. All of them, we were first advancing here, putting our partners back on the ground. Remember that the hand was blocking the shin or holding our legs, but the intention is to keep our knee on the ground here and neutralizing the leg, and we advance to the opposite side. So 1, hold the leg here, knee on the floor. See that we are heavy. Again, tripod, pushing the leg, stepping over. If I can lock down here, leg comes from the outside to inside, we were locking down 1 and 2. As long as I lock down, I can advance to the shoulders. Advance to the shoulders, under hooking here the same side, and I move like a blanket. Okay, so chest against chest. I'm now isolating the whole side of the body. Move head to the opposite side. Okay, and now we conclude it. Hooking the leg, further forward here, push, cut from inside, mount position. Okay, second one. We were, again, following the same idea. Holding the shin, but now, see that, and when I mean, like holding the shin, I can hold the pants, I can hold my own leg. It's just one way, guys, to control your partner's leg, okay? We always understand that the concept, the idea, guys, is wide open. We have many different ways to control, right? So, hold here 1, shoulder there, and again, I will start clinching the hips and sprawling. Remember that even if my partner tries to insist with the hook and sweep, doesn't happen. Why? I'm limiting his mobility. So then I can walk over here and I come back with my knees next to his hips, caging the hips, and gradually we go for the shoulders in a very, very simple fashion, very simple progression. And the last one, partner sits up. Remember that you try to establish partial control over the legs. My arm comes from the outside and I grab his pants here, like this, okay? And I hold the lapel. Remember that. I grab the lapel, elbow comes in. forehead to the shoulder, and long step. Turn chest to chest, side control position. Okay? Alright, so see guys that all of them, this part here has slightly difference. In the third one, all of them will be based on trying here to reduce our partner's mobility, control the hips, and make our partner be more defensive. Okay? And then from that point, we progress, side control or mount position. Okay? So that was our subject of today, guys. We worked on 3 ways to pass the butterfly guard, and I hope that all of you guys enjoyed it. See you next time on the mat, guys. Peace.